Hello, my name is Shlomi, and welcome to my class. So imagine a scenario. You're a nurse in the emergency room. You're in charge, on shift, on duty. You're there to handle all the patients coming in. And you have 3 patients that came in one time when you're on shift, and you have only a single bed for one patient. So you have to choose which patient is really an emergency case and would get the bed, and which ones can wait. That's high stakes decision making. So one of the patients that came into the emergency room with a problem with a medical issue was holding their finger like that. And he got a paper cut, and it's really painful. So that's the first patient, patient A. The second one is holding on to his arm, and he complains of pressure on his chest. That's patient 2. And the third patient has a broken leg. So I made the third one hard. Let's skip the broken leg. The first one has a paper cut. The second one is holding his arm and has pressure on his chest. And the third one is coughing and complaining about heat. Because broken leg is also pretty acute. So which patient would you choose? One of them, the first one, is describing a painful cut in their hand, which really hurts. The second one is describing pain in their hand, in their arm that hurts, and pressure in their chest. And the third one is coughing and is very hot, and he has a hard time with all the heat. So what do you think? Think about it for a moment. Which patient would you give the single bed that you as a nurse in the emergency room have? What do you think, Clara? You're not sure? How about you, Jack? Sam? Anyone? Fatima, you would give it to the second one. Okay, good choice. But why would you give it to the second one? The first one is yelling in pain, and her finger really hurts her. And the third one is also really hot, and he's coughing. Why would he give it to the second one? Sam, what do you say? Because he has pressure. Right, pressure in the chest can often mean it's a suspicion of a heart attack. So you don't want to risk a heart attack as a nurse. So someone describing pressure in their chest gets the bed. Okay, great choice over there. So we see it's important to describe the problem that you have in medical terms and correct English descriptions in order to get your point across and be able to communicate a problem. Because if the second patient wouldn't have used the word pressure, and he would just describe the pain in his arm or point to his arm, which is hurting, and not to the chest where he has pressure, he might have not gotten the bed even though he has a heart attack, and that could end not pretty. So in this lesson, we're gonna discuss the importance of using correct words and how to describe different medical problems that we can have, how to describe some body parts and different level of pains. If you have high pain, so you use specific words, and if you have a little bit pain, like a little bit dull, aching, you use other words. So we're going to learn the 2 types of words, the different types of words and body parts. So next time you have an emergency problem, you'll be able to describe it better and get the help you need. Or if it's not so severe, so other people would get the help, but at least you're able to communicate what's the problem, and you allow the emergency room staff to get the right decisions. So we'll start with the Quizlet set. I'll put it in the board behind me, which you don't see because it's on a demo video. So the Quizlet set has a bunch of vocabulary over here that describes different levels of pain. So there are some vocabulary, some words that are used to describe low pains or medium pain or high pain. So I'm going to put on a word on the board, and you're going to have to define the word, say what it means, and also say what level of pain is that referring to. Is that high, low, or medium?